Last month, some of you may have heard or read about the large 19-count indictment mob takedown that charged 14 mobsters across New York and New Jersey with labor racketeering, extortion, money laundering, and a slew of other charges. Of those 14 mobsters charged, 10 were from the Colombo crime family, which included the family's upper leadership, the reported family boss, Andrew Mush Russo, the reported family underboss, Benji Castellazzo, and the reported family consigliere, Ralph Di Matteo. Another mobster of note taken down in that bust was longtime Colombo captain Teddy Persico Jr., who has been discussed in the past here on this channel, specifically in my interview with my friend Kenji Gallo, who served underneath Teddy Persico Jr. in the Colombo family in the latter part of Kenji's time on the street. Last night I was opening some emails and an article was sent to me from the New York Daily News that just broke that states that Andrew Mush Russo has been granted a compassionate release and has won his freedom with a $10 million bond. But this article is pretty interesting because it talks about both Russo and his predecessor, Little Vic Orena, whose attorneys have also been trying to get him granted a compassionate release due to his rapidly failing health. However, he has been denied a compassionate release where Russo was granted a release by the judge. Now, I have no doubt that both of these gentlemen probably do suffer from the ailments that their attorneys claim that they do have. They're both in their upper 80s, so I'm sure that's probably likely. For those of you that don't know much about Vic Orena, just a little bit of background on him. He was placed in charge as a street boss for the Colombo family while the Persicos were away in prison. And when Alley Boy Persico was going to be released, he would be taking the family back over from Vic. So basically, Orena was filling in, representing the Persicos on the street. However, while he was in charge of the family as an acting street boss, he felt that the family was better served under his leadership versus continuing to be served under the Persico leadership. So Vic attempted to seize permanent control of the family, which split the family into two factions, the Orena faction and the Persico faction, and started the last Colombo War. And I know people on both sides of that conflict, and it was most definitely a bloody war. No doubt about it. It left people dead and numerous people injured. So, getting back to this article, it says that the judge basically recognized that Orena was the Colombo kingpin during the bloody Civil War in the early 90s. However, his attorneys argued that Vic Orena suffers from dementia, Alzheimer's, diabetes, glaucoma, and heart problems. The judge stated that, quote, a strain of cases has emerged in which the offender's criminal history is just so long and that the victims are so numerous that even his serious health conditions do not suffice to meet the merit of relief. This case falls squarely on that, and the judge pointed to one of the dead in that conflict was an innocent teenager who was shot in a Brooklyn bagel shop and killed. Last month, Orena's legal team claimed that he actually believed that he was the President of the United States. I mean, it's kind of irony because the current President of the United States clearly suffers from dementia himself. And obviously, there is no doubt that Orena would make a better president, in my opinion. So I just thought that was pretty funny to point out. However, that even failed to sway the judge, who described the criminal as a, quote, singular figure in the annals of the Colombo family, unquote. The judge went on to state that he rose to a leadership role, becoming the acting boss in 1988, and his efforts to cling to power triggered a bloody war. Orena oversaw a campaign of violence that resulted in a swath of death and serious injury. Therefore, I do not think that he should be granted a release under any circumstance, stated the judge. So I just thought that was interesting. You know, here you have a mobster that the government claims to be a current sitting boss of the Colombo family, and he was granted a compassionate release. However, his predecessor before him, Vic Orena, was denied a compassionate release. So anyway, I get a lot of things that get emailed to me. You know, generally I just read them to retain the information for, you know, for use in my future interviews, etc. But if you guys would like for me from time to time to chime in with these short commentaries, just let me know in the comments section. I'd be happy to do that.